When society unravels and chaos takes over, cash won't save you. Dollar bills won't fill your stomach, and excuses won't get you a trade. One day, life feels normal. The next day, shelves are stripped. Neighbors are desperate, and survival comes down to what you already have on hand. In that moment, the prepared aren't begging. They're trading. They're surviving. Stockpiling isn't paranoia. It's foresight. After SHTF, every item in your stash becomes more than a supply. It's leverage. Food, tools, medicine, and even small comforts turn into hard currency once the system collapses. That's why we're breaking down the 20 survival items you must stockpile. Not gimmicks, not luxuries, but essentials people will fight for, respect, and barter with when nothing else holds value. And number 20? That's the wild card. The one nobody sees coming, but the one that could make you the strongest trader when survival itself becomes the economy. Number 1. Rice and beans. If you could only store one food combo, this is it. Rice and beans are the ultimate survival duo. Rice fuels you with carbs. Beans bring protein and fiber. And together, they create a complete protein source, giving your body the same nutrition you'd normally get from meat. That's why civilizations have thrived on this pairing for centuries. They're versatile too. Soups, stews, stir-fries, or just plain with a little seasoning. Cheap, filling, foolproof. Long-term storage is simple. Buy in bulk and seal them in food-grade buckets or mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. White rice will last 25+ years. Beans nearly as long. That's decades of security for pennies. The cost? Around 50 cents a pound for rice and $1 a pound for beans. You're talking complete meals for under $1. But here's the catch. Prices are already climbing. Rice rose 14% last year. Droughts are driving bean prices higher, and delays in exports are making things worse. Wait too long, and you'll pay double for the same bag. Number 2. Flour and oats. When everything feels uncertain, comfort food becomes survival fuel. Flour and oats take basic staples and transform them into meals that feel familiar. Bread, biscuits, tortillas, pancakes, porridge, cookies, granola. These aren't just calories, they're morale. They remind you of normal life, and that matters when the world outside is collapsing. Storage is easy. Seal flour in airtight containers or mylar bags with absorbers. White flour lasts longer than whole wheat, making it the better option for true long-term prepping. Oats, especially rolled or steel-cut, are nearly indestructible when stored right. And the economics? Still under $1 a pound in bulk. That's 30 to 50 cents a meal if you're smart. But don't get comfortable. Global wheat prices surged 15% last year. Oat harvests are down across Canada and the US. And supply is tightening. Today it's cheap. Tomorrow it could be priceless. If rice and beans are your foundation, flour and oats are your comfort zone. The difference between scraping by and actually feeling fed. Number 3. Salt. Salt is one of the most underrated survival essentials. People take it for granted until it's gone, but without refrigeration, salt becomes your best preservation tool. It keeps meat, fish, and vegetables safe long after the freezer fails. And of course, it makes food edible when bland meals are all you've got. Salt's value isn't just practical, it's historic. Entire trade routes were built around it. Wars were fought for it. For centuries, salt was literal currency. In a barter economy, it becomes one of the most powerful items you can carry. Storage? Couldn't be easier. Salt never expires. Keep it dry and sealed in containers, and you've got a forever food. No refrigeration, no absorbers, no maintenance. Just a survival staple that will hold its value longer than anything else on your shelf. Canned goods are also morale boosters. Crack open a can of peaches after weeks of rice and beans, and suddenly life feels survivable again. Canned meat, even in small amounts, adds protein and flavor that keeps spirits high and energy steady. That psychological lift is priceless when stress and fatigue set in. And let's not overlook their barter value. In a world where cooking fuel is scarce, ready-to-eat food becomes high currency. A single can of chili, tuna, or soup can be traded for medicine, candles, or even protection. People don't just want canned goods, they'll fight for them. Cost-wise, they're still a steal. Generic cans of beans or veggies hover around $1 each, sometimes less in bulk. Meat and specialty cans are pricier, but worth every penny in a collapse. The key is variety. Stockpile a mix. Protein, fruit, and vegetables. That way you don't just survive, you avoid malnutrition and food fatigue. But here's the warning. Supply chain disruptions hit canned goods hard. Tin and aluminum shortages, rising steel prices, and higher transport costs are already pushing prices up. And when a crisis strikes, supermarkets empty the canned aisle first. Don't wait until you're standing in front of empty shelves wishing you had bought more. If rice and beans fuel you, flour and oats comfort you, salt makes food tradable, sugar and honey boost morale, and oil keeps you powered, then canned goods are your safety net. The ready-to-eat bridge between survival and starvation. And next on the list? It's the survival essential most people laugh at. Right up until they're shivering, freezing, and willing to trade their last meal for it. Number 7. Blankets and thermal gear. Water isn't optional. It's survival, plain and simple. You can last weeks without food, but 3 days without clean water and it's over. And here's the brutal truth. When disaster strikes, water systems are always one of the first things to fail. Floods contaminate pipes, power outages shut down pumps, reservoirs get tainted, and suddenly that crystal clear tap water you've trusted your whole life is either gone or poison. Most people think bottled water will save them. Wrong. You'll run out faster than you think, and carrying gallons around isn't sustainable when you're on the move. That's why water filters and purification tablets aren't just good ideas. They're survival non-negotiables. With them, any puddle, stream, or rain barrel becomes a lifeline instead of a death trap. The gear is simple but powerful. Portable filters like LifeStraw or Sawyer can clean thousands of gallons before wearing out. Purification tablets slip into your pocket, weigh next to nothing, and can kill bacteria, parasites, and viruses in minutes. Together, they give you independence from fragile systems and make water a renewable resource instead of a countdown clock. And don't overlook their barter power. In a collapse, people will trade food, tools, even weapons for safe water. If you've got filters and tablets while others are drinking foul, untreated water or wasting precious fuel to boil it, you instantly become one of the most valuable people in the room. That's leverage money can't buy once the grid's gone. Cost today? Minimal. A solid filter runs $20 to $50. A pack of tablets, just a few bucks for dozens of doses. Shelf life? Years if stored right. For that price, you're buying the single greatest insurance policy in survival. And here's the kicker. Water isn't just for drinking. It's for cooking, washing wounds, cleaning tools, keeping sanitation intact, and keeping morale alive when everything else feels dirty and desperate. Without it, every other prep you've made, food, medicine, shelter, crumbles fast. If rice and beans give you strength, flour and oats bring comfort, salt makes food edible, sugar and honey restore morale, oil fuels your body, canned goods provide safety, coffee and tea give sanity, and alcohol pulls double duty as medicine and morale. Then water filters and purification tablets are the gatekeepers. They're the difference between thriving and dying. And coming next? You can't drink it, but it's just as essential. The invisible lifeline that keeps your tools, lights, and defenses alive when the world goes dark. Number 10. Batteries. First aid kits and medications aren't optional. They're survival lifelines. Once the grid goes down and hospitals close their doors, even a cut finger or untreated fever can spiral into a deadly problem. That's why in a collapse, medical supplies become more valuable than gold, and people will trade food, fuel, or shelter just to get a single dose of pain relief or antibiotics. A proper first aid kit isn't just Band-Aids and aspirin. You need the real deal. Antiseptics, bandages, sterile gauze, burn ointment, scissors, tweezers, gloves, painkillers, antibiotics if you can get them, antihistamines, and rehydration salts. Add medical tape, wound closure strips, and even a tourniquet. Think about what you'd need if professional care was days or never away. Storage is straightforward but crucial. Keep everything in a waterproof container, airtight if possible. Heat, moisture, and sunlight destroy medications fast, so stash them in a cool, dark space. Rotate over-the-counter meds every few years. But remember, even expired meds often retain much of their potency, which makes them barter gold long after their official dates. The price of building a kit now? Anywhere from $20 for a starter kit to $100 plus for a serious setup with trauma supplies. Compare that to the trade value when shelves are bare. In a post-SHTF economy, a bottle of antibiotics could fetch weeks of food. A handful of strong painkillers could secure tools, fuel, or protection. Even something as simple as bandages or antiseptic wipes becomes high value because they prevent infection. The single biggest killer when sanitation collapses. And here's the reality. Disaster always creates medical shortages first. During hurricanes, pandemics, and blackouts, pharmacies empty in hours. Trucks stop, and restocking halts. Once they're gone, they're gone. Those who prepared quietly at home aren't begging in line. They're stabilizing wounds, calming fevers, and keeping their families alive. If rice and beans fuel you, flour and oats comfort you, salt and sugar keep food edible, oil and canned goods sustain meals, coffee and alcohol boost morale and trade, water keeps everything flowing, and hygiene protects your dignity. Then first aid kits and medications are the final line between life and death. And up next, we move from health to heat, because even the strongest prepper won't last long if they can't stay warm when the world goes dark. Number 13. Fire starters and fuel. But in a crisis, a single bottle of antibiotics or a handful of painkillers can buy you days or weeks of essentials. Medical supplies vanish first. Waiting to stock up is a huge gamble. If basic food keeps you alive and everyday essentials sustain you, first aid kits and medications protect life itself. Number 13. Batteries and flashlights. Small, simple, and absolutely critical when the lights go out. Light is not a luxury, it's safety. It lets you move without injury, signals for help, and secures your perimeter. Once stores run dry, a dependable flashlight or a pack of batteries becomes high-value barter. Store batteries cool and dry, rotate them to prevent leakage, and keep an assortment of lights on hand. Headlamps for hands-free work, handhelds for general use, and lanterns for communal light. A decent flashlight costs $10 to $25, and a battery pack only a few dollars. Cheap now, priceless later. Number 14. Lighters and matches. Fire is civilization's basic tool. It cooks, purifies water, provides heat, and signals. In a survival scenario, reliable ignition is life. Stock disposable lighters for daily use, refillable lighters for long-term reliability, and waterproof matches sealed in a dry container for emergencies. A small pack of matches or a single refillable lighter can fuel multiple fires over days, making them some of the most tradable items when shelves empty. Number 15. Candles. When electricity fails, candles give you light, a little warmth, and normalcy. Cheap pillar candles, votives, and tea lights burn hours at a tiny price. Yet, in an outage, they become high-demand trade goods. Store them in a cool, dry place away from sunlight. Keep a variety of sizes so you can use them for light or melt wax for other uses. A few dollars worth of candles can become a major morale and barter resource when the grid dies. Multi-tools and knives. These are the daily workhorses of survival. From food prep and repairs to shelter building and self-defense, a quality blade or multi-tool is used constantly. In a crisis, they're also highly tradable. Many people will want one, but few will have them. Maintain your blades. Keep them clean, oiled, and stored dry. Carry a pocket multi-tool for everyday fixes and a full-size knife for heavy work. Prices range widely, $20 to $100 plus, but their utility and barter value make them essential. Number 17. Heirloom. Non-GMO seeds. Seeds are the quiet currency of long-term survival. A handful of well-chosen, properly stored heirloom seeds buys you the chance to grow food next season and trade for necessities now. Store packets in a cool, dry, dark place. Label them with variety and year, and rotate if needed. Properly preserved seeds multiply value, literally, and they turn short-term survival into long-term independence. Number 18. Ammunition and firearm supplies. High risk, high reward. A firearm without rounds is useless, and in many collapse scenarios, ammo becomes a major store of value. Keep rounds dry and organized by caliber. Store in airtight containers, cool and out of direct sunlight. Rotate to avoid degradation. Expect prices and demand to spike during emergencies. A supply of reliable ammunition can be traded for food, fuel, or protection. Handle and store responsibly. This is a serious, consequential prep. While rice and beans fuel your body, ammo fuels your leverage. And in a collapsed world, leverage often decides who makes it through. Number 19. Blankets and warm clothing. These are the survival essentials most people forget until the cold bites hard. When the grid goes down and heat sources vanish, warmth becomes survival itself. Hypothermia doesn't wait. It can creep in quickly, draining strength, clarity, and life. Thick blankets, thermal layers, and rugged cold weather clothing protect body heat, preserve energy, and instantly become high-value barter when others are freezing. Smart storage matters. Keep them dry, vacuum sealed if possible, to prevent mold and conserve space. Focus on durable, proven fabrics. Wool for insulation even when wet. Fleece for lightweight warmth, and quality insulated layers that stand up to harsh weather. A variety: heavy blankets, compact thermal throws, coats, gloves, and layered clothing means adaptability across situations. The investment is minor compared to the return. Spending $10 to $50 per item now could save a life or trade for weeks of food in crisis. Costs are already rising as global supply chains wobble. Stockpiling early ensures you're not left shivering or paying triple later. If food and water sustain life, blankets and warm clothing are your shield against the elements, the line between resilience and collapse. Number 20. Luxury comforts. Chocolate, spices, gum, cigarettes. Items that don't fill the belly but feed the soul. In survival, morale is power. These small indulgences break monotony, lift spirits, and keep people sane when every day feels like a grind. A square of chocolate, a stick of gum, a sprinkle of spice. Tiny comforts that carry massive weight when hope is scarce. More than morale, they're barter gold. In a world where essentials are rationed, people crave normalcy. A single candy bar or pack of gum could trade for a meal, a tool, or even a favor. Cigarettes. Historically, one of the most valuable currencies in crisis zones. These items may seem trivial now, but they're psychological fuel and leverage in trade. Storage is straightforward. Keep chocolate in a cool, dry space. Seal spices airtight. Store gum and cigarettes in moisture-proof containers. Properly kept, they'll outlast most assume, ready to comfort or barter when needed most. These aren't luxuries in collapse. They're assets. Essentials keep you alive, but luxury comforts keep you human. And that human edge is often what keeps groups stable, alliances strong, and morale intact. Stockpiling isn't panic, it's preparation. The people who ignore this list will be scrambling when shelves empty and prices soar. Those who act now will stay fed, warm, and in control, while others barter away their last scraps. These 20 items aren't optional. They're survival's backbone, barter's currency, and the thin line between thriving and barely scraping by. Once shortages hit, it's too late to wish you'd stocked deeper. So start now. Stay ready. And remember, survival begins with what you choose to put in your hands today.